All right, hello everyone. This is Daniel Feltham-Lauzon from ArcherPoint. Today, we're looking at the Boltrics system for 3PLs. So the Boltrics WMS for 3PLs, and the feature that I'm going to show you is all about status flows and the status template. So essentially, in some previous videos, you guys have seen where I've shown you if I go on a receipt over here or a shipment, right? So let's just open the list of receipts. I've paid attention right to the status over here, right? So these statuses, which essentially say which stage of the process of receiving these goods, right, this receipt is at, this warehouse receipt is at. So essentially we have new, right, and then we have, confirmed, and then we have arrived, and then it's in progress. So it means that it's being unloaded from the car, from the truck, and then while it's fully received, right, and then moves on to services and so on and so forth. So these statuses are a way to really know where we're at with receiving these goods and are extremely useful. Now let's go ahead and we're going to look at how these statuses are kind of like set up. So if I come over here and I open, let's just for the sake of it open one which has been almost or nearly completed. So one which is in 80 services. All right, so let me just pick out the services over here. Right, this one. So you see the status right here, right? We're in the status services. And if I click on the three little dots, right, what I see here is that I see the different status log, right? So this is useful because what we can know is that we can see when was it changed from the old status 10U to the new status 20 confirmed, right? And that was done at this time by this user. When was it changed from confirmed to arrived, right? Well, it was done at this time by this user. When was it changed from arrived to unloaded, unloaded to in progress, and in progress to deviation? Deviation meaning that we were expecting 100 cases, but we received 85, right? And then right up to services. So I can know who, right, and at what time did each of these events occur. Now, where's this configured, right? So all this flow, right? Well, it's configured in templates over here. So if I log here in templates and I click on template, I will fall under the status template. Okay. Another way of arriving over here, right, is that if I go in the right top bar and I search for status templates, right? Well, over here I have all different status templates. And the status templates are essentially the flow, right, of statuses and the sequence of statuses in our context for receiving a warehouse receipt. But we also have a status template for shipping. We have a status template for sales invoicing. We can have some status templates for creating new customers, creating new customer items, creating new contacts, creating addresses or vendors, etc. Right. So this is used throughout the whole system and is actually quite very useful. So let's go ahead and open the receipt. Now, what we see here, right, is that we're seeing that there's a couple of statuses, right? So we see that the initial status right there is 10 new, right? When we look at previous status, okay, so it's a 10 star. So this means that it's anything that starts with 10. So it would log at 10 new. And the next status would be 20 star. 20 star is equivalent to 20 confirmed, right? So when we're at 20 confirmed, the next status is 30 star, right? So the 30 star is over here, 30 arrived. And then when we are at 30 arrived, the next status is either 40, which is in progress, right? So it's being unloaded, right? The truck is being unloaded, or 35, which is unloaded, right? When we're at 40 over here, okay, it's either that it can go to 50 received, right? And so on and so forth. Okay, so this is how, right, the status flows from one status to the next, right? So this is the sequence of statuses. On here, there's a couple of other setups that we can associate, right? Is that we can either make the document completely non-editable at a specific status, or we can have it editable. Okay, so this means that we can stop the editing of the document based on the status we're at. So this is interesting if, for example, at the completed status, you would want to make it non-editable over here because it's completed. I can't change anything over here anymore, right? So this would be an interesting way of doing it. Over here, delete blocked. So this means that if the receipt is now in progress, right, or has been arrived, right, well, I can't delete this receipt, right, or this document. So again, over here, some nice security over here where we can prevent deletion of the document based on the status that they're at, right? Log status change. This is really interesting because this is what creates a status log, right? So it allows you to generate that status log as you move things over, right, and so on and so forth. And so over here, posting allowed, right? This means that you can post the completed receipts, right, but you can't post it in the arrived status. Including the invoice run, right, is that the services on the receipt are included in the sales invoice when it's run. So you can bill, right, the services that you've incurred on this receipt or shipment. I know there are multiple others, right? Parameters over here, which are more. I'm not going to go through all of it, right? Because they're more or less used, and they're used for more specific situations. But the ones that are the most used are these including invoice run, which means that you can bill the services. Posting allowed, which means that you can archive the receipt or the shipment, right? Log status change, delete blocked, editable, next status, previous status, and the initial status over here. Okay, so this is kind of like how you develop the sequence of statuses from on the receipt. So if I just give a small example, right? Let me just give you guys a small example. So I'm going to open another tab, and I'll create a receipt, right? So new. Now you see as I create receipt, sell to customer number. There, let's just say that we're doing this one, right? You see now the status is 10 automatically. Now if I'm at 10U, right, the next status is going to be 20. So let's just move to 20. It's probably external document number, center code. So I'm just going to add this external document number. So PO 123. Next status. Now we're at 20 confirmed, right? So you see now I'm at 20 confirmed right here. 20 confirmed, the previous status is blank. So if I click on previous status, what you will notice is that it gives me all of the statuses over here available. Okay, so that's what happens when it's blank. However, over here, I might want to go 20 confirmed, so I might want to go to 30 arrived, right? So I'll click on next status. Arrival date is already filled in. Do you want to update? Yes, 30 arrived now, right? And then you see the next after 30 arrived, right, is 40 or 35. So let's just check it out. All right, well, you see over here, I've got a choice, right? So either 35 unloaded or 40 in progress, right? So one of the two statuses over here. So that's how it kind of like flows, right, through the whole sequence of statuses, and that's kind of like how you can manage your statuses on your documents.